and the ER for Akathisia. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report is coming from 1 off Erowid, when this happened, 2005, the drugs used, Diphenhydramine, Ziprasidone, and Nicotine, at a dose of 100 milligrams of Ziprasidone and 25 milligrams Diphenhydramine daily, the route of administration, orally, gender, male, and his weight, 205 pounds. So today, we're looking at another antipsychotic. Specifically, we'll be looking into one of the potential side effects of antipsychotics, which is the extrapyramidal symptoms. In other words, an impact on motor control. Today's user 1 was just put on Ziprasidone at 100 milligrams, which seems to be a strong dose to start. We'll also be looking into how diphenhydramine acted as a solution to many of the symptoms he experienced. But we'll get into the substances more after the report and get a deeper look into what they are and can do. So let's waste no more time. Without further ado, let's dive right into this. For starters, I am bipolar, and my psychiatrist decided to put me on Geodone, 100 milligrams. I got home and took it that first time, and about an hour later, felt extremely agitated and could not stop moving. I tried to take a warm bath to try to calm myself down. I sat in it for about 5 minutes before realizing it was pointless. I would start smoking a cigarette, take a hit or two, then put it out. 10 minutes later, I would do this again. I also repeated trying to calm down in the bath, only to once again leave it after a few minutes. I decided to go to bed, which was difficult but eventually worked. The next afternoon, I took all of my medication as I usually do, and went to work. This turned out to be a mistake, as, like the day before, the symptoms returned, only this time about 100 times more intense. I had an overwhelming sense of doom, so I went and talked to my boss to see if I can get a ride down to the emergency room. After waiting for what seemed like an eternity, I finally saw the doctor, and he recognized it immediately as akathisia. He prescribed Benadryl to be applied through an IV. I was nervous about this because I had experimented with Benadryl when I was younger, and it was never a good experience. Even low doses of Benadryl make me uncomfortable, but at this point, I was willing to try anything. Eventually, the nurse finally comes in, gives it to me, and bam, it went away instantly. The relief was so great that it was almost orgasmic. As of right now, I am still on the Geodone, but I take a 25 milligram Benadryl every day with no return of the akathisia. Okay, so Ziprasidone are under the brand name Geodone, an antipsychotic that is used as treatment for schizophrenia and bipolar patients. Like many other antipsychotics, the Ziprasidone acts as an antagonist to dopamine, serotonin, and adrenergic receptors. Uniquely though, it does reuptake serotonin and norepinephrine somewhat, which this is suspected to help combat some of the potential negative symptoms. Speaking of which, let's list some of them, because with antipsychotics, it can be quite a bit. It can increase your heart rate, it can be heavily sedating, it can cause insulin resistance and weight gain, there can be nausea and vomiting, feeling weak, or like we see in this report today, it can have a strong impact on motor control, which, if you don't know what akathisia is, it's a movement disorder that happens when you feel like you need to be in motion. You can just feel restless as fuck and just irritated from it, some to the point of panic, which I'm sure one was experiencing anxiety on top of this, which didn't help the situation, especially just knowing that you don't know what the hell is going on with you. Now, if you don't know about Benadryl or diphenhydramine, which I'm sure many of you here do, just more used to it as a deliriant, Benadryl is a common antihistamine and anticholinergic and has a lot of uses medicinally. Now, as an antihistamine, that's what's responsible for allergy relief, including the anti-nausea effects and drowsiness. As an anticholinergic, this is what is responsible for helping aid one with his akathisia. Specifically, anticholinergics work by blocking the amount of acetylcholine in the central and parasympathetic nervous system. To simplify that, it works by slowing down the signals in the body for the muscles to be activated, resulting in a reduction of involuntary movements and restlessness. On top of this, Benadryl can help reduce anxiety as well. Typically this is considered mild compared to something like Xanax though. And we can see to achieve these effects, you don't really need that much diphenhydramine. 25 milligrams, which is typically what one pill is. And this can also be achieved through other anticholinergics, one we've covered specifically being benztropine. And as for the nicotine used in this report, which I'm sure some of you are wondering how that played a role, well, nicotine is a stimulant. It specifically acts by agonizing nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, which, in other words, it was most likely just making the symptoms of akathisia worsen. Even though subjectively you may feel a smoke can provide relief, it's coming to understand substances from a pharmacological standpoint that'll better prepare you when you take something. It just helps knowing what's going to cause what, which substances are going to provide relief, which substances are going to worsen, what are the side effects of a substance, how are these substances combined, which substances are going to be irrelevant to your situation, and so on. But today's report showed a good example of a potential known side effect of antipsychotics in movement disorders and how that will typically be treated. So if you want to see more on this, want to see more on antipsychotics, specific side effects, anything like that, let me know in the comments below and we can get to that. If you guys did enjoy today's video, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow the socials, share the video. It's been someone that's no one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.